Thank you so much for joining us today. I'm Loriana Harrison with DLP Marketing, and today I've got with me a really pronounced, amazing guru of the builder industry, and that is Steve Ryder with the Build and Trade-In program. Steve, thank you so much for being with us today.
Oh, it's my pleasure. I'm looking forward to sharing with you.
Thank you. So one thing that I find really interesting about what you do with your business is you work with builders all over and across the entire country.
That is correct.
That's a lot of insight. I think that, first of all, being really hands-on inside of those industries with the agents and the builders, you've got a lot of insights. But what have you seen in 2018 and what is notable?
Well, you know, it's interesting, Lori. I've been doing this for 40 years, specifically working with new home builders. So over the last 5 years, I've been coaching in 21 metroplexes across the U.S.
Okay.
So the stuff that I'm going to illustrate would be kind of the new norm, because 2006 was the top of the market, as we well know, and then we had this huge trough.
Yes.
And now, as we've been growing since 2014, we're in about a 4-year run.
Okay.
That's
incredible.
And that, when you just watch prices go up and watch prices go up, you start getting a little buyer pushback, right? Because not only are the new homes getting more expensive, but the resale homes are getting more expensive.
Absolutely.
Right? So you're always looking to see, when does the market peak? And quite honestly, you can never predict it. But it's easy when you look back.
Sure.
Right?
Yes.
So across the U.S., April, May was the top.
Okay, and that's 2018.
2018,
Okay.
April or May, in the new home industry, they peaked. In the resale industry, prices peaked.
Okay.
And it didn't matter where you were. You could be in Seattle, which is very hot. You could be in Austin, which is super hot, Raleigh, the triangle there, it really doesn't matter. Everything kind of peaked right at that time.
Okay.
But then when do you feel it? When do buyers start going, wow, it's just too high, time out.
A little pushback.
Right? August.
Okay.
August of 2018 will go down in history as the inflection point.
Really?
Now, an inflection point is typically what the government says, that the buyers say time out, and they move over to the sideline.
Okay.
And they just say it's just interest. It's normally interest rate. It's a combination always. Interest rates, lack of inventory, and prices.
Price, and I would say prices is probably one of the big things. And I mean, you're talking on a national level versus us here in Scottsdale at HQ, where August is just traditionally a slower month, regardless.
And that's what everybody was thinking. It's August. People are going back to school.
It's hot out.
And so people are not sure. And within 2 more months, a new term, softening.
Right.
So softening is where we actually go from here down to here. We see a 5 to 7% adjustment.
Okay. And you're in Denver as well.
I'm in Denver.
So you saw that in Denver as well as...
In the summer.
Okay.
Immediately in the summer. Here's an example. Denver, they dropped by about 45%.
Really?
A local builder here, in-home sales.
Wow.
Locally, Fulton Homes had been selling 88 homes a month. They're selling 41 homes a month now.
And that was the height of April, May of 2018. And then we went to, 88 homes, and then less than half of that beginning in August. That is a radical shift.
Radical.
Okay.
So new home builders are going, well, what's going on? And see, they had to, for a timing, we're always in a 6-month build time, if not 8 months.
Right.
So remember back to the
permitting
math,
and all of that.
Permitting and everything. In April, they're going, woohoo, life's good, build specs. Let's have homes for the end of the year, 2018. Let's hit our numbers.
Right.
Standing inventory now.
Okay. And so do we have an idea of how much standing inventory is on the market maybe nationally and then kind of locally as well.
Yeah, and remember, every market is hyper-local.
True.
Okay? So
Mhm.
some people
True.
will go, well, Steve, you're predicting a softening of 5 to 6%. Are you going to say anything else, gloom and doom? And I'll say, well, the next step is called a correction,
Okay.
21% or more.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if Seattle went up 21% in 2 years, do you think it could come down 21% over the
Yikes.
next year?
That's scary because the cost of land, the cost of permitting, and the cost of just lumber and copper and all of the building supplies and labor, right? Aren't those the biggest critical components?
One more. In that supply chain, you put in some natural disasters.
Oh, goodness, yes.
Now you lose construction workers because they pay more. Insurance
Right.
companies pay more. You also have materials like a lot of shingles, drywall, all that goes to repair a whole city. Panama City was decimated in Florida.
Oh, my goodness.
So you take all those little micro markets and those little micro adjustments, and it has builder inventory, they're slowing down. Resale inventory, we've gone from 30 days on the market in the
Okay.
resale world. In 3 months, we're averaging 90 days. That's a 30% increase per month for days on market.
Wow. And that happened just this summer.
That happened in the last 3 months.
So we're talking about December 2018, and we've got tripling of days on market.
Yes.
Okay. So looking at some of the things, what are some suggestions? What are
It's called Shift. Okay, Gary Keller of Keller Williams wrote a book called Shift, and there's really 10 points in Shift. And I would love to come back at another time and really dig down into a shifting market, because there's a lot of things you can do. Quite honestly, not only locally, but across the U.S. and now worldwide, because we're in South Africa, Portugal, and getting ready to go to Dubai. So we're doing
Exciting.
some expanding
Congratulations.
because there's a lot of countries that are coming to the U.S. A lot of money that's being invested. SoftBank, I mean, they've just invested $500 million in local iBuyers, and we can go over iBuyers at another time if you'd like.
Yes.
So the market is changing, but just from a look at 2019, how does this all kind of gel?
Yeah.
First of all, there's some good news in the horizon. For every downturn, it's called a correction.
Well, and it's our learning phase, right?
You bet.
Where we're finally kind of learning and doing those kinds of things. I've got here with me the new construction, the Zillow group,
Yep.
new construction consumer housing trend report. And when we're talking about kind of that correction phase, this is a consumer report. So
Yep.
what I love about that is they spent so much money and invested on this
Interviewing.
enormous, audience to find out what their thoughts were about new construction versus, resale.
Absolutely.
And one of the biggest sticking points, and this is what I kind of feel for our industry as well, is price, right? Where we've got what is in MLS is typically a base price. And then we've got our lot premiums, and then
Yep.
we've got our options packages. And, I know that Saturn has gone away, but Saturn had the kind of, this is what the price is of the car.
Right.
This is what you're going to drive off the lot with.
Correct.
And so out of 38% of total buyers that are in the market, 11% of those went with new construction. Only 11% of those went with new construction. And one of the biggest reasons was kind of being able to see, right, on Zillow or Realtor.com or Trulia, hey, this is the price range where I've been pre-qualified for, and they're probably really excited about purchasing new to have a space. Earlier we were talking about new build in Southern California and all sorts of things, that you want to know what that price is. Do you believe, with this information and your insights locally and across the country, that pricing might start to be a little bit more of integrated and kind of, here's what it is on MLS, here's what you can expect, dear buyer, with Trulia, Realtor, and Zillow, and that we can kind of get from 11% maybe up higher?
Well, that's kind of a two-part question, and so I'll give you a two-part answer. Consumer information is becoming a lot more valid and easier to get. We are moving towards, there's a program that's been developed called Envision that locally Fulton Homes uses it. So you can go on and not only design a wish list, but see a kitchen, make an alter the cabinets or the appliances, and then hover the mouse over the appliances and change those and see the warranty, see the price. So you can now put your whole house together and see what it looks like and price it. So it gets a little bit, it's certainly more transparent.
Well, because when I was at Shea Homes in San Diego 10 years ago, we were doing options off of a sheet of paper and, kind of pulling off the options out of the wall. And that AI type stuff.
Imagine to be able to just go click and have this, or click and have a different background, or a different black backsplash.
Oh, yeah.
It's amazing.
We were drawing out, backsplash designs back then. So this is a huge step forward. And you talked about warranty, and I think that's another big part of that.
Yeah, in California, specifically by 2020, they have to have 25% of the roof on solar. But it's interesting, when I had my interview yesterday with Norman Brown, the vice president of California, for their house to be in the range of energy efficiency, it's easier for them to put the solar on than to put on this and this and this, because each one just brings it down a little bit, where solar has such a great effect. And it would be, you're going to pay $100 for electricity, or with the solar, you're only going to pay $40. Are you okay with saving money with solar?
Right, or the grid's paying you back.
Yeah, so that's
Sounds
a compelling argument that you're going to save money by buying solar, and the builder hits their energy efficient rating even quicker.
Yes.
So it's a win-win. So there are some great things that are coming up in that whole new home world. And as the market ebbs, you also have two other things that happen for the real estate agents that are still in the market. We have 2 million, so that will shrink a little bit, and we might go down to 1 million. But the commission income will shrink in proportion, and for the people that are still in the market, you'll make more money. So for
the
agents,
20%, right?
80-20, absolutely. So that's good, and then inventory will rise, and with more inventory, buyers will get off the fence.
Because people have options then.
Yes. So you're going to see a little bit more inventory in new homes, which will just slow down the price jumps. And you'll see where the resale could come down a little bit. Maybe you lose just a scooch. The new home goes up a little bit. So I ask you a question. If you had a $20 bill and I had a $50 bill, would you trade your 20 for my 50?
Absolutely. I'm an accounting undergrad. I've got this one, Steve.
That's easy. So there will be a great time to buy new homes. It's still a fantastic time, and it's still a good time to sell.
I like that very much, and I look forward to kind of going into more details. I definitely think it's going to be interesting to talk about iBuyer next time, and kind of maybe have you look at the crystal ball for 2019 on some of our next discussions. So thank you. It's a great time for builders with this adjustment and the corrections that are happening, and we look forward to seeing you next time. Thank you so much, Steve.
One last thing I'd like to mention, for the builders that are out there, the only thing that's different right this minute is the sale is not made in the model anymore. The sale is made at the kitchen table. You got to sit down with the consumer and explain what's going on so they can make this kind of decision.
That's a great tip. And everything changes that way, right?
Yes, it does.
Just breaking of bread. I like that. Well, thanks for the tip, Steve.
Thanks for having me.
Look forward to seeing you back next time, and look forward to seeing you back. If you would like to, please give us comments and let us know things that you'd be interested in hearing more about as we ramp up for our next episode. Thank you.
Bye now.